A new day dawns on the village of Etunda in northern Namibia, situated some 10 kilometers outside Okahau in the densely populated Umsati region. Etunda holds a significant place in the annals of Namibian history. It is here where Sam Nujoma, Namibia's founding president, was born on 12 May 1929. From these humble beginnings, motivated by the cause to free Namibia, Nujoma would rise above all odds to launch the country's liberation struggle, which would last some 26 years before the country could taste the fruits of independence. Nujoma's story and his quest to free the country from colonial occupation started way before what history books teach us. It is here at Etunda where the leader in him was groomed. Such grooming came as no coincidence either. He had the making of a leader from a tender age.
Tara ochinaho chamuniwo vanene. Vanene oyahero kachove kokuti chanje uri kolongombe ayaho kachove okachove shek ayaha akete kokula manapo akeshitivi chanjo kachove ngoma ke konjiso okuronda kochivanda kakena kutupuka make konjiso okuronda chivanda uliri kende ko chivanda chanje muno vanene mo chirongonu ave munu kucha ingo mwachengo pu meke kulira mapukara omwana warwe kena kukulira pwetemba kucha omundu warwe vemumuni nomokachovenko ake konjiso kuronda chivanja chanje wayaha.
Despite such assertions by the village elders of his predicted greatness, Nujoma remained humble growing up, even doing chores not accustomed to boys at the time.
My mother, sometime when I come from the kettle, I milk the kettle, I put the milk in the calabash. Then I see my mother laying down and the child on top of her. And she's in serious fever. She has a higher fever. So that happened to many people. So normally when I find her pounded the mahangu to produce flour for our oshitima, she said, Sherry, that is my firstborn. Yeah, I have prepared some mahangu. Now go and pound so that I come and do okotitha to shave today.
Ocho chiringa shito popinandiye me hapudo ye shito ti okwali hatsu jeta sisi shama no kutsa jeta sisi ya oyeri ne na meme pochinine omanga dichano nacho nangane oyomtse wetu shava kwavarwa ndichi ashike okwakara eno omukaro omwana wamegumbo wanje tu shitwarongwa kutate na meme manje tu shitwakaramo ihamutu kwacha to tukungo mnungino to mtumbura okuti otokongwe hapu
opa byo mno mwana wa
tatereke runona
yali hetokuinini
temukinini okay
Anditi na footage Nashondakara ayakara anjikalisa nayo watati indakuka pulengwe ngukwali hemukweni
yete atatsu is going to help kettle in the come in the pound mahanga
no
tatsira mwaina
tatsira mwaina.
It may have appeared strange for a boy at the time to be seen doing such chores, but Nujoma enjoyed them, and knowing he was helping his mother out brought a sense of fulfillment to him.
Sometimes my mother is very, very sick. She cannot even wake up to hold to the baby. So I just learned how to okutita. You girls cannot beat me. Up to now I know how to do it because of that difficult situation. So I was brought up to be responsible for everything that happened at home.
Being the firstborn, Nujoma was also expected to assist his mother in taking care of his siblings, and it was not always an easy task, as he candidly recalls.
So I grew up that sometime I like to go to kettle post so that I don't look after the children.
As is tradition in this part of Namibia, the young Nujoma was also expected to herd the family cattle and small livestock. This meant that he would spend endless hours in the field with the cattle, braving the scorching sun of the north, and only returned home in the late afternoon. As Nujoma recalls, life growing up may not have had modern-day luxuries, but the humble settings they were accustomed to at the time provided invaluable lessons that had stuck with them.
I used to go from Ganjera village to Ukwambi, where my father originally was born there in Ukwambi area. So I go there for 3 months with our cattle. And sometimes I go also with the cattle of our neighbors who have no boys to look after their cattle.
Soon it was time to move on. A young Nujoma, still in the prime of his young adult life, sacrificed the plains and oceanas of the Msati region and set on a journey to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean at Walvis Bay. It was here where the yearning for Namibia's liberation started and grew in Nujoma as he got to experience apartheid firsthand.
Akwiti tashi ashuru wala dithano makakuga ogea go mambusu ugeni tenda ki para huno kiti huna dokwega dege kumwaga tipaka gowe tu furane ogene doranda atura tu no na wirumbu satu tanga jaja tu tirumbu atondi yetu chwatu vuka kuruntu tapo amwala kuchuba kaloga poshirumbu shine otozi kwa dengba we punana shu eterera tashite oh ayo kwati iyo kwiketa zatwa tutondirumbu ho anoshitwa karane tutondirumbu kano ayishitwa kakokane oh itaya shwambane ukuda ne kwame nkurumeri kongana ho kuuni de simbojono ho katu joko ko bangala to ho kwame nkuruma tati Afrika uchirongo cha ruze avarerwamo achitirwamo kukarunga atirigane o Europe ya na chune ko Europa kwene tunapoimbira limwenda atriane shune ninde kuwe Europa o kumwazi namsa o jefika mene atukwa twake burune Jime imbiro jono erimbi otokaze ngwane ngora ko policy.
Times were indeed tough, Nujoma recalls, as locals had to accept being mistreated in their own country by their white employers who had the economic means that they badly needed.
We come and clean the office of the Boers, and we used to wash them with the soap, the floor nicely, and then apply the polish, and then when the Boers come, they step there, they say the mark of their shoe, oh yes, daarom goed kafra van Zuid-West Africa. We just say, bas.
When the opportunity beckons, Nujoma decided to take on the cause for the liberation of Namibia. Spurred on by a pending arrest due to his political activism in the country at the time, Nujoma managed to evade the arrest and slipped into neighboring Botswana. He used an undesignated entry point through Namibia's Omaheke region into Botswana's Khansi district to avoid capture. His mission? To lobby for support from African countries who were sympathetic to the cause of Namibia's liberation.
I went into Botswana just like other Herero, because I got to speak Herero now, just like Hereros.
Soon, the journey finds him in Francistown in northeastern Botswana, where he attempted crossing into Zimbabwe, then named Southern Rhodesia, to further advance his quest to free Namibia.
Now I have to plan how to get out from Francistown into Southern Rhodesia. So I bought myself a first class reserved. They were first class train that reserved for black people or for colors if they have the money to pay more. Because you get the table, you can be served with the food there. So I had the money from Ovambo and the People's Organization, the forerunner of SWAPO. So I had the 500 pounds, that was a lot of pounds. The ticket by that time is about just 200 pounds or to go to New York and come back. It was cheaper by that time. So I had the 500,000 Namibia dollars. So I bought myself a reserved colors. So I planned how to cross this border from Botswana land, British Botswana land, to Southern Rhodesia, British colony. So I have to have either passport or a permit. But I didn't have those. I was escaping. So I planned, and my plan works. I went to the shop, very expensive shop in Francistown, and I bought myself pajamas, slippers, and I dressed myself in a first class compartment reserved for black people. And I locked the compartment where I was alone. And I bought all the newspapers from South Africa, the Cape August, Cape Times, the Star, all the South African newspapers. I bought them in Francistown. Then I put them on the table nicely. So I addressed myself and dressed the pajamas and the gown and the newspapers, nice. Now, when we came to the Rhodesian, Southern Rhodesia, and the Botswana and the borders, there you have to have a permit to enter Southern Rhodesia, British colony. I allow this British police to come, to knock, and I just keep quiet, knock, keep quiet, knock, keep quiet, and then he knock hard. I pull the door like this, I say, "Are you sick? What the hell are you doing?" Now he look at me and I see inferior when he look now at my newspaper, the Times. He say, "Okay, you are now entering Southern Rhodesia, British colony. Next time you must have visas and so on." Because I told him that I'm a teacher in Botswana. I'm just going to visit my uncle who's working in Bulawayo.
Soon thereafter, Nujoma was out of Zimbabwe and in Dollar in southern Zambia in transit to the United Nations in the United States of America. Even here, finding his way around proved tricky, and he had to devise a plan to allow him to get around the country and to eventually leave for Tanzania, then referred to as Tanganyika.
I didn't know anybody there, and there was apartheid there also. So I have to look for some black people there. I saw black children playing. I didn't want to ask anybody. Now I bought them some chocolate, and I asked them to take me to their teacher's house. So they show me the teacher's house. I knock, no, they say no, the teacher's he just went in town. You can come back later. And so later on I came and this man said, "Oh, how did you come from Southwest Africa all the way? How did you manage?" This is how I'm escaping. I'm going to the United Nations. I now wanted to go to buy a ticket in Tanzania, then to go to Nairobi, Kenya, then Sudan, Khartoum in Sudan, then to Accra, Ghana. Ghana was then the only independent African country from here. So this is how I escaped.
The journey eventually ended in New York, where he was one of those who petitioned the United Nations for Namibia's independence.
Namibia, 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 victory, victory, victory.
Wouldn't be the same again. Southern Africa wouldn't be the same.
Some years later, the winds of change swept across the African continent, and several states start gaining their independence, which made Namibia's quest for liberation even more possible.
After Second World War, so the British agreed that the former German colonies and the British are prepared to grant independence to their country. The first one was Tanzania. We were all based in Tanzania. And then Kenya became independent, Uganda became independent. But the first among all of them, in June 1960, I remember, it was Congo-Kinshasa.
During one of his journeys across Africa at the climax of Namibia's mission to be independent, Nujoma found himself in Algeria. As he narrates, this journey was to be the turning point in the history of Namibia's liberation struggle.
When the Algeria achieved independence, I went there and I got the first 2 pepper submachine gun, 2 Tete pistols, and 2 boxes of bullets, because otherwise they cannot fire without bullets. And those are the ones who our guerrilla fighters took up to Nguru Ombashe to launch the armed liberation struggle there.
And how did you sneak those peppers?
No, I brought them to Dar es Salaam and Tanzania. But when, you see, I have to learn a little bit Arabic language in order to pass at Cairo. From Algeria, I came with them to Cairo. I have to take Egyptian airline from Cairo to Nairobi, Kenya, stopover, and then to Dar es Salaam. So what I did, I learned a bit of Arabic. I know how to say Sabah Akhe, Sabah Hanur, Kwais Katire, Handulila Shukran. That is Arabic. So I talked to those Egyptian immigration officers. They get interested into me. I'm black child, but I speak a bit of Arabic. But we had our office in Cairo, in town. So I told them, I have those boxes there, please took them there. So they put them aside, they didn't ask what is in these boxes. Then I came by Egyptian airline from Cairo to Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, the last stop. But in Nairobi, the British were there, Maumau was in full swing. So I asked those Egyptians to allow me to stay in the aircraft. They said, how you can stay? Because I was speaking a little bit Arabic, they get interested in me. They say, hey, harasho suka, harasho, sabake. Yeah, sit down, you can be remaining with your boxes here. So I remained. Then the plane took off to Dar es Salaam. In Dar es Salaam, we had office because Tanzania was independent. So this is how we smuggled those guns from Dar es Salaam, through northern Rhodesia, now Zambia, through Caprivi Strip, and our guerrilla fighters up to Nguru Gombashe, where we launched the armed struggle.
Reflecting on the liberation struggle, Nujoma admits it was no walk in the park, but the country had to go through it to enjoy the freedom it has today.
So it was not easy, but the determination was there. If I see other blacks in Ghana, they are black like me, they are independent, I say, we must go and fight the Boers. We started the armed struggle, then the Boers, the whole of South African army was in this country. I'm sure you must have heard about it.
Nujoma attributes the success of the country's liberation heroes to their state-of-the-art weaponry and the guerrilla tactics which won them the war in the end.
We have the Katusha.
And what Katusha can do?
Oh, Katusha can destroy. Katusha is if we hit here, two shells here, and the one they can also destroy Otavi. Oh yeah, it's a very powerful gun. Oh yeah. We still have it at the Grootfontein. That's why the Boers could not do anything to us. They know we have that cartouche, and they will not buy it. We thank the Russian Federation. By that time, the Soviet Union. Now it's the Russian Federation. So we know how to fight, and we can fight. And the Boers know that. That's why they cannot make any nonsense here. If they do, they know Satan will meet them in a meeting. We had 8K-47, you hide it underwater, you take it out to firing. Whereas the gun of the Boers, they cannot take it in the water. Once you put it in the water, the gun will not fire. So we had that automatic AK-47 of the Russian. The Russians, they just gave us weapons, anti-air, free of charge.
After leading the country for 15 years, Nujoma stepped down as president in 2005. 2 years later, he handed over the reins of the SWAPO party to then party vice president Hifikepunye Pohamba and formally retired from active politics. It is here at Farm Etunda, 30 kilometers south of Otavi, where Nujoma says his soul finds peace as he takes in the natural air and observes the beauty of nature. Although he is retired, Nujoma still keeps fit by doing chores around the farm, such as tending to livestock. He is also an avid plant lover and has his own mini fruit tree garden at Farm Etunda. When visiting his home village of Etunda, Nujoma actively participates in weeding activities of his mahango field.
Usirone hawango marobo. Marobo wanu ke kapuru kiaga no akano. Okay.
When time allows, Nujoma frequently attends community events and functions such as this football tournament held annually in Okahau. Nujoma is also a firm believer in education for all and has done a lot to further the cause for Namibians to have access to quality education, as reflected by this primary school he has built on his farm.
Hello, medical assistants.
Yes, Tatekulu.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tatekulu. How are you?
Fine.
Okay.
Good
Yes,
afternoon,
Tatekulu.
yeah.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine.
Yes.
Nujoma's philanthropic nature has also led to the construction of this modern clinic here on Farm Etunda, which has since been handed over to the Line Ministry.
They have already taken over. They are the owners of this clinic, but I built it in the area for the school. You see that classrooms are already complete. This is the house for teacher. Their house for medical assistant are behind this building. But now I hand you over to them to explain what they are doing here.
People around the community were really in need of health assistance. Like they really wanted this. I can say, because since we have started, our population has been increasing like from day to day. I think after they got the information that the clinic is operating. But so far, the population is coming. But the only problem is that I cannot really say how many patients we are having for now, because we are also catering patients that are traveling on the road. So I understand the clinic, the need of a clinic in this area was really here. Now that the clinic is here, they are being assisted. Their way of traveling to Otago to Arango is cut short, so now it's easy for them to come to the hospital because most of the time, according to what they told us, they used to suffer in the farms. They can like take 3 days sleeping on the road to go to the hospital because they don't have money.
Ironga pondori opula na komsitu oakara hoya totukundaneke. Omkumo totutsu tuleshe tuane zimbuko. Toti komongura osetatuka tunga oshirongo. Wapopida tsatatekuru nena otsene tatuikoluli. Mepangero kamuno shikondo shopombanda katumo. Tangisha fishuna omwane kuyambeke. Otwa pandura ombepo ekonjo yetuirika. Momsitu twekulandura ando marongo inatugamona. Avari yetu ando tashivurika ina pondoro okufuta maithano getu. Otate no meme ando pamwe yetu ningana hambo ni amna hambo imuna nali mimapya.
Natango oita na itsikire comrades. Oito ya pumpo kutsikirwa morashi natango otuna unona wetu Republika Namibia. Ihau yiko skora. Omtondi wetu ngashingino patarere ni uposi noruhepo. Na ikonjise tumwende kuchake shokano ka Namibia. Shena yina eni mariwa nege kaina mariwa na yomo skora. Yes. Keshom Namibia te hama eni mariwa nege kini mariwa na yomo chipangero ditafutu. Amonao o matanga akurata ikeda siwa potai kokoro toi karafio fio aita no dige ahuru omoda wepie horike so tukakugirira.
Reflecting on the history of a leader of Sam Nujoma's caliber is no easy feat, but his story will be told for generations to come. His determination, commitment and perseverance by venturing into unknown territory for Namibia's sake is indeed engraved in the annals of history.
Tirelessly.